Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back and Forth. I'm your host, Gecko Man, and sitting beside me is our co-host, Rogue Gambit, the man who is vengeance, the man who is the knight, the man
Who floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee. Well, you ready for our, so I was about to say Star Wars, Marvel DC battle.
Yeah, sadly, Star Wars won't be a part of this today. I know someone here who will be happy with that.
Ooh.
Sitting beside me right now. All right.
I love Star Wars.
Do
I
you
don't know
wanna-
what you're talking about.
You want to tell the audience who will be facing against each other?
I would love to. I'm so excited for this because, like, so many people equate these two so much. They're like, Moon Knight is just Batman for Marvel. And then other people are just like, Batman's just Moon Knight for DC.
When have you heard that?
Never. So yeah, Moon Knight against Batman.
Now-
The cowled Avenger versus the caped Crusader. I just
Okay.
came up with that on the spot. I should say that was pretty good. Yeah.
All right.
The one who is the offspring, no, the avatar of the night, and the one who is born into the night.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to, Batman's.
You're
born
trying
into
and it's not working.
the- yeah,
All right. So, of course, Rogue Gambit's going to be taking
of course.
goodness, now you just made me lose my train of thought.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. And
Yeah,
I will
take
be
him
taking Batman. So there's a lot for Batman.
Yeah. So I'll probably start here
Yeah, go
because you're gonna have a lot. And if anybody listened to our episode we did before the Moon Knight show started, I already gave a pretty good backstory for who Moon Knight is and his abilities, powers, weapons. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna do a quick little review for those who did not listen. But if you want an in-depth dive, go back and listen to that.
Yeah. You can find that actually just at the end of this video. This
Yep, we'll have a little link.
link and other stuff, whatever it is.
Yes. But anyways, we'll get started with Moon Knight. So Moon Knight is the avatar, or Mark Spector's the avatar.
Wait, he's the Avatar?
He is the last airbender. He's the avatar for Khonshu, the moon god, which gives him some peculiar abilities.
Now, let's just point this out. Moon Knight has superhuman abilities, but Batman does not.
This is true.
So if you're new to the whole world and
If you don't know what comics are,
and I'm sure all of you have read at least one of either the comics. So
I mean, I'm sure you guys at least have seen now the depictions in film of Batman and TV of Moon Knight. So, all right. So we'll start off with his alter ego, Mark Spector.
how many does he have?
It varies, usually just 3. But Mark Spector is really only the one that matters because he's the one who can turn into Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mark Spector has some abilities of his own without being Moon Knight, for he was a mercenary trained by the CIA and other organizations. He's trained around the world in martial arts and is very proficient with just about any weapon. He mainly likes knives and batons, personally.
Whoa.
But he is proficient in just about anything. He's also a pilot, driver, and whatnot. And then moving on to Moon Knight, his powers and abilities. We'll go over them real quick. So we'll start with the most important. That's probably his suit. In the Moon Knight show, if you recall, Khonshu called it his healing suit, which I found very interesting. I never had heard it called that. I looked it up. I don't think it was ever called that in the comics. But as you saw in the show, he was injured. When he put on the suit, he was healed. That was really interesting. So his suit can not only protect him, but it can also heal him.
I mean, if you watch the last episode, Protect. I'm doing air quotes
Right.
here.
It's very interesting how it works, but yeah, in the comics it doesn't quite work like that. But in the show, yes, it was somehow protected him from bullets, but didn't protect him from spears. Take that as you will. But it didn't hurt. The spears didn't like kill him, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't
he
drawing
was still
blood. They were
alive.
just Which brings me to probably his most important power: the fact that he can't really die. In the comics, he's died probably a dozen to 20 times, but
Yowzers.
Khonshu can just bring him back every time.
That's a little terrifying.
So for a fight like this, that's pretty important. The other thing that's really important about him is he can take a hit. Not only is it very like once he dies, he'll get brought back, but it's very hard to kill him. He has most famously, there's this scene when he gets shot by crossbow bolts over and over again, and it basically doesn't even phase him. He just keeps on coming. Other than that, he's survived a couple explosions with minimal damage. He's been just beat the crap out of him by Juggernaut, by
Juggernaut. Wow.
Hulk's beat him up pretty good. Just big bruisers, and he just takes the hits.
Man, when you told me that he just takes the hits, I would, to me personally, I would think like just a normal guy punching him.
Right,
But Hulk and Juggernaut.
Right, so, and that's the thing. It's kind of hard to really nail down exactly what his power sets are because his power levels have varied so much in the comics.
I wonder if it's all due to like Khonshu, like giving him a certain amount.
So the biggest effect, I guess, it's not really a power, but his power level varies based on the size of the moon. So a full moon, he's the most powerful, versus in the daytime, he's the weakest. And that's where I think Batman would exploit that.
Yeah.
But moving on, we'll just go over his most famous weapons, and that would probably be his crescent darts and his bow staff. So that's Moon Knight. Briefly, what do you got for? Do you have any questions before we move on to Batman?
I mean, we can move on to vehicles for Moon Knight.
Yeah. So in the comics, he's got a couple of vehicles. Nothing like,
Too crazy.
He has his moon motorcycle, moon bike, and his moon copter. So a motorcycle and helicopter. The helicopter is nothing special.
It's just a helicopter.
It's just a helicopter that he bought with his money, and his motorcycle's pretty sick. It's got some weapons on it and gadgets and such, but nothing too special.
Okay. Does he have any other weapons he would be using in a fight?
I mean, yeah. He has not only his bow staff, which is like 6-foot bow staff. He also has some screamer sticks that are a couple feet long. He's used swords before.
I guess like you said, he's able to use almost any weapon.
Yeah, like Mark Spector is proficient in just about any weapon, and Moon Knight's no different. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, anything else before I go into
I don't think so. I'm ready to hear what you got for Batman.
This is an over-exaggeration, but this will be a 3-day long ride. No.
I mean, I'm no slouch when it comes to Batman, and yeah, you could talk about Batman's abilities and weapons for a long time.
Yeah. So I've done basically just the
bare minimum
of things.
As you always do.
No, wow.
Just barely scratched the surface.
Yeah. Basically what weapons I went with and stuff were stuff that he basically would use all the time.
Right.
Of course, he has
Most
other
common.
things he probably would use in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
I just never saw him using them in the
Right.
type of fight against Moon Knight.
Right.
So let's start with his cowl or his mask. It is apparently it is composed of small amounts of lead in it.
Yes.
What's that? What's that look and smile you're giving?
It's just true. You're right. You're correct.
He has an infrared viewer and auditory sensors to help him, I guess, sense around.
See through walls.
Just know, I feel like a complete somebody who is just stepping into the steps of learning about Batman. When I started researching him, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my goodness, there's so much." So forgive me if I've mentioned a couple things wrong here. So he also has a security system on his mask and his belt, keep people off of them.
We saw that in The Dark Knight.
Yep. Moving down, we go to his why am I forgetting it? His vest or his
Armor.
Yep. It is mostly made of Kevlar with small amounts of titanium in it.
Bi-weave fibers, as we learned in Batman Begins.
All right. He is able to basically it is able to stop most forms of explosives, able to stop a bullet.
Non-armor piercing rounds, of course.
Yeah, non-armor piercing rounds. It is able to stand up basically to almost anything.
A cat?
Not a cat, surprisingly. Then moving down, we go to his gauntlets. They are reinforced gauntlets, able to I believe, take a hit. What I was reading was so vague on what I was trying to explain. It was so difficult to understand, but I'm pretty sure it can take a hit or a kick pretty easily.
Yep.
Without exerting a lot of force and stuff. It is. He has, goodness, I can't talk today. He has blades on his gauntlets. I've seen different versions.
Yeah,
of
they've
these blades.
changed a lot throughout the years. I mean, there's times where they were just there for show, right? They were just clop. And there's other times that they get shot out.
Yeah, they can shoot out. They can. I know I've seen in one moment where he can make a batarang from them.
Yes. Yep. There's one where they change it to tonfas.
Yeah.
What is that? The Batman or something?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
The Batman TV show, not the Batman the movie. In those, they're just darts or something.
Yeah. So right now we're just gonna say he's just got the normal blades on.
Okay.
Able to fight them off. Moving down to his cape, he is able to glide with that, long distances glide, as we saw in The Dark Knight, or I guess Batman Begins, but he is able to use
yes, he glides in Batman Begins.
Yeah, he's able to make it into
The Dark Knight.
Sturdy form of gliding. I don't know the word.
Runs electricity through it and it
yeah, there it is.
firms up. Yep.
He is actually also able. It is also now. It said flame redundant. I think they were trying to say retardant.
Yes, yep. I mean, his cape over the years has gone through a lot of changes.
Yeah,
based on who he's fought and stuff. I mean, you've got where he originally fights in 1978. I think he fights Firefly for the first time, and that's when he ends up changing the cape so it can withstand fire.
Yeah.
And then when he's fighting Mr. Freeze, the third time, 1993, I think it was, he also made it so it can
withstand cold.
Basically, the colder the temperature is, the more active the molecules are in it, so it actually melts like ice around him, and it will.
I know I
keep
saw
him warm.
something about it's
cool.
able to stand up basically to almost anything.
Any
fire.
temperature, yeah.
I know. I would also assume that he would also keep it as keep the cape with able to stand up against heat more, because there's more chances of fire and stuff like that in a fight.
Right.
Moving on to let's go to his utility belt. And oh my goodness, there's so much stuff in it, in the equipment and stuff. So we're gonna start off with his batarangs.
Oh, batarangs.
So he's just got the normal batarangs, normal throwing batarangs. They only gave me 2 batarangs, but I know he has more.
He has a lot of batarangs.
He's got a homing batarang. He's got a explosive batarangs and stuff like that. He's got so many.
I mean, he's got ones that he can control.
Yeah, he's got
maintain flight. There's ones that just fly and stab. So
he's even got
anything
tracking batarangs and stuff like that. He's even got. I think he's got a doesn't he have a batarang that's able to go around a certain building to like know the layout of his.
Yeah, so like with his remote batarangs, I mean, he's got ones that he can control and they can maintain flight and give him video feedback and map a building and
Yeah. So there's a lot. There
and
is definitely
he's
a
got
lot.
ones that can like create like project 3D images and stuff too.
Yeah, that one I didn't see on there. So, he also sonic batarangs as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Piercing loud noises, all that kind of stuff. He's got pocket explosives. He's able to place them anywhere, remote detonate them, and stuff like that.
Yeah, in Batman Begins, we see him when he's breaking through the Arkham. He's trying to get out of Arkham to get to his car to take Rachel after she's been gassed. Remember, he blows the hole in the cell to get out of there with his little mines explosives.
In Batman Begins,
Yeah, he's in. So Rachel got dosed.
Yeah.
And he gives her to Gordon, and then he goes out the other way and he blows the door off. The thing says hi to the two inmates, blows the wall, and goes out.
Oh, that's right. I remember now. Yeah, he also has pocket jets, stuff he's able to place in a Batman Under the Red Hood. Places on them on a dumpster, launches it towards.
Yes, I see. Yeah. I was trying to picture exactly what you're talking about, but no, yes.
Yeah, you just put them in a pocket, they just go flying.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so able to place them on anything. It can launch most things that are movable, even people. He has explosive pellets on impact. They are able to explode.
Yep.
He uses a multitude of explosives, gas,
smoke,
anything.
concussion.
Concussion. He has plastique explosives.
Yep.
Those are pretty deadly. He has a line launcher able to connect between 2 points and use as a zip line.
Yep.
He has a taser. Of course, he has his handcuffs for people. He has an electric lighter. Much more powerful than a normal lighter, I'll just say.
Yep.
He has his bat claw, his normal way of zipping around.
Grapple.
And
Grappling hook.
Cryptographic sequencer.
Okay.
I meant to look more of this, but I never did. I completely spaced it when I was working on this. I think it's a.
So it's go ahead.
I'm gonna try and say it before you say it.
Let's see if you know.
I think it's like a way to like. I want to say it's more of a detective style thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's changed a lot over the years, of course.
Yeah.
But it's basically just a mini computer that he can have in his hand that does different things. Like it's apparently called a cryptographic sequencer, whatever, which would mean that it basically used for decoding things.
Yeah, decoding. That's what.
What we see it in the movies, I believe, is what would David be referring to when in the Dark Knight he senses the radiated bills with it. Aside, he uses it a lot in the animated series.
Yeah.
To decode codes, to use it to detect sounds and see what type of thing. It just could take in a lot of information and give him quick feedback to help him detect, as you were saying.
Yeah. Well, welcome to my world of like trying to know what it does and stuff. So yeah, that's a lot of his equipment. He does have multitudes of more. He has a lot of stuff to help him like uncover a crime scene. He has stuff to help him, find. He has certain trackers. He has other things to help him like do anything.
Just like put this out there. He always is like learning and like adapting his equipment, and so like you said, he has like the taser, right? But he eventually attaches that taser to his gauntlets, and so he can just have it like he doesn't have to grab anything. They just run, the electricity's already running through his hands, so it's literally as he punches people, it shocks them as well and gives that more impact.
Yeah, it's crazy
just
how
things
much
like that.
Yeah, it's crazy how much he like how much stuff he has, and
Mhm.
it's interesting to think about. That means he just spends so much time as Batman.
Yeah, and just like, and he's always adapting and changing and evolving his suit to better fit each situation. We should probably also mention he has a lot of equipment for any environment he finds himself in. Right, he's got
Oh,
gas
that's right.
masks for gas. He's got
Rebreather for water.
water. He's even has in some adaptations things for going into space. Just like any climate he finds himself in, he most likely has a gadget to survive that or survive a little longer, right?
Yeah, and that also goes into
Yeah, some of the pellets he has are oxygen pellets that will give him a burst of oxygen. Don't know how scientific that is, but he has them.
that is so weird. I did not find that in any of my research. So
There's the animated series episode where he gets dropped in the barrel to the bottom of the ocean or the bay, I guess, and he uses it.
oh wow, I never knew he had those. Um, that also should go into what I was going to say next is the fact that he is always looking. He's always taking everything he learns and putting it as something that could happen, as a thing that could happen, as in like he he knows the weaknesses of Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and so he's prepared in case they were to turn and stuff like that. Moving on to other stuff, his goodness, I can't remember what this is called. He knows all forms of karate or
Martial arts.
martial arts. That's it. He knows all forms of martial arts. I do not know the name of them. I cannot think of any.
I mean,
Taekwondo.
what didn't I feel like I listed them in something.
I think we listed them in the
when we were talking about the Batman movie.
Yeah. I think. Don't hate on us for saying for saying that we did. Yeah, so he knows all forms of martial arts. I just found where I wrote it. He is also very he has athletic prowess. He is as you said, he's very intelligent. He's very, very stealthy. Like he is basically he is the ninja of all ninjas.
Yes.
He is, with being intelligent.
Well, I don't know about that. Snake Eyes is pretty ninja of all ninjas, if you ask me.
He is very as I keep saying he's very intelligent. Yes, he is. He's good at investigations. He's good at goodness, what is the word I'm looking for? I am just scratching on words today. Tactician. That's not the word I was looking for. Detective. He. What is the word? Goodness, for science. It's a scientific.
No, you lost me on this one.
For finding fingerprints, and stuff like that. Forensic science. There we go. Forensics. That's what it is. I know what I'm talking about. Goodness. Oh, I am so tired. I can't think of like this. Let's see. What else do I have here? Yes, he is also very good at intimidation and interrogation.
This is true.
Like we see that a lot in Batman, in the Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, stuff like that.
Also, if you want to see one of my favorite scenes, Batman Returns Part 2, when he interrogates. I don't want to give it away, but he interrogates someone on a roof, and it is fantastic scene.
Okay. Then we go into his vehicles. He has so many vehicles.
This is true. And they've changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, he has, of course, the most notable one is the Batmobile.
Yep.
He also has the Bat plane, Bat copter, apparently a Bat train.
He does have a Bat train.
Which is like, what? That kind of confuses me a little bit. Like, why would he use that if he has a Batmobile?
Sometimes you have to get on the train tracks, okay? And the Batmobile isn't well, actually, it is made for train tracks, but some adaptation of it is not. Anyways.
He also apparently has like a Bat submarine.
Yep.
A Bat... I think he has a Bat rocket.
Yes, he does.
And then like apparently a smaller version of Batcopter. I forget what the name was. I did not write it down.
Is it one of them's called the Bat? Is it the smaller one or the larger one?
It's like a really small one. Like it's a seat.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what that thing's called.
Yeah, and there's a couple others that he has. I won't go into them because.
Well, we have to go into the motorcycle, of course.
Oh yes, the Bat Cycle.
Yes. And of course they've been changed a lot. In fact, like there's in which one is it? The Batman TV show, I think it is, where basically his jet is his submarine. You know?
Yeah.
So, and I think even does he go to space in that thing? I don't know. He might. So
maybe.
So like they've definitely been changed over the years. There's not many non-comic book adaptations of his train, but the Bat locomotive.
And even like in The Dark Knight, he has his Batmobile, and then it turned into the Bat Cycle.
Yeah. Well,
so
such a cool scene.
It is really amazing. And of course with his vehicles, he keeps a multitude of things in there. Like I think he keeps like a smaller Bat computer in there.
Yep.
He keeps a smaller Bat computer. He has extra equipment to grab if he needs it. He even has extra costumes in there for himself.
Yeah, I mean, he has extra armor. He has medical items. He's got usually the Batmobile in most adaptations of it, if not all, they have weapons attached to it.
But
and they're basically impenetrable.
Yeah, impenetrable. It's impenetrable.
They take a bazooka shot. Except most notably in The Dark Knight. They take missile shots and things.
His Batmobile's like a tank.
But I'm just saying, like all his vehicles can take crazy amounts of damage.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, like what has happened. So like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into what he has all in his Batmobile. He just has the normal stuff.
Yep.
He with that, but think of it as like a more enhanced version of a police car.
Yeah.
With a smaller computer inside, able to contact Alfred. And
that's all you need.
Yeah. And speaking of Alfred, going into his associates. There's Alfred he can always call upon if he ever needs some backup. There is Nightwing / Robin, or Robin / Nightwing.
Well, let's go Nightwing / Dick Grayson.
Okay, fine. And then he has the other Robins, of course. I can't remember.
Jason Todd, Tim Drake.
I was thinking of Jason Todd, but that wasn't the one I was thinking of. Tim Drake, what it was. So Tim Drake
it was.
Jason Todd, and I think there's one more, right?
Oh my goodness.
Damian Wayne.
Oh well, yes, that's not what I was thinking of.
But that's not.
My tongue.
Yeah. Well, then there's also Batgirl. There's just Batwoman. There's another. There's another.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, like there's so many things that. And he also apparently has a dog.
Yep.
I think he has a cat. Ace.
He has a cat?
I feel like I've seen him in an adaptation of him.
There might be one out there. Not one that I've read or seen that I can recall.
Yeah. In Batman the Brave and the Bold, I feel like I saw it.
Oh, well, of course. I love that. I love that show. Don't get me wrong, but of course.
Yeah, so that's about it. I'm going to stop it there. I went way longer than I wanted.
I think that's good. We got to know our enemies. So I guess the question, I'll ask you a couple questions about him. So getting ready for this fight, he knows he's about to fight Moon Knight.
Yeah.
He is learning this new world of Marvel.
Well,
he wishes he was a part of. How does he prepare for the fight?
How does he? Well, of course, as Batman is, he's going to do all the research he can to know about this guy. He's going to learn everything he can about Mark Spector. He's going to learn. I mean, assuming he might might know the identity of.
He found out Superman's identity
Yeah,
in like
true.
3 seconds. I'm pretty sure he knows who Moon Knight is.
Well,
Especially since Moon Knight doesn't really hide his identity at all.
that's true. That's true. So yeah, he's gonna learn everything he can. He's gonna know that all of Mark Spector's
Yeah.
abilities and
Personalities.
and even going into personalities, he's gonna learn everything that he can about each personality, just in case they pop up in the fight. Like I said, he prepares for anything and everything.
Yeah, I think he'd also do a lot of research into Khonshu,
yeah, yeah.
which I think will come back to help him in the end.
That is the question, though. Would Khonshu?
All right. So
Is there any adaptation? Is there anything that says that Moon Knight is the avatar of Khonshu? Does Moon Knight ever say to people that he's the avatar of Khonshu?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wondering because I didn't know if like Moon Knight was like, I am not the avatar of Khonshu.
No, Moon Knight doesn't really care what people know about him generally.
Okay.
But he doesn't. He's not like a public. He's not like Iron Man, right? He told everyone he was Iron Man, and he was like in the light, like he wanted people to know.
Yeah.
And people wanted to know. With Moon Knight, like he works in darkness. He doesn't seek the light, but he doesn't care if people know.
Yeah. Like yeah. And I also assume that Batman is going to be trying to find any footage of him fighting and analyze it and anything like that. Of course, knowing all this stuff, he's going to try and find weaknesses.
Oh, I meant to go into that. Weaknesses. What are Batman's weaknesses?
Oh, yes. So his weaknesses, I'm going to say, are his allies.
Okay.
Any time, I would say are his allies. It's the fact that if you were to take one captive, and stuff like that, like under the Red Hood, he had a bit of a hard time fighting against Red Hood.
For a man with no human connection, he has a weak spot for human connection. Yes,
he has a lot of connections. For the people that know his identity, he does have a soft spot for.
Yep.
I think that's really the only weakness that he has.
I mean, besides the fact that he doesn't have superpowers.
Yeah,
not a weakness.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, that's also something I forgot. He does keep like an adrenaline shot with him.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you for reminding me of that.
You're welcome. He keeps a lot of anesthetic injections with him. Yeah. Moon Knight, his weaknesses are kind of his split personalities, right? He can get distracted, as we've seen many times in the TV show. He can end up, holding back or waiting too long, just getting in arguments with his personalities, and people can play on that. There's a lot of times in the comics where like some of his most difficult battles have been just because like people know how to push his buttons, type of thing. And then it's I guess his other weakness is like his relation with Khonshu. It can be strained at times, and sometimes Khonshu just decides to fight him instead of helping him, type of a thing. He can basically talk to him at all times, and he can take his power away at times and whatnot. He can kind of take his power away. It's interesting how it works, but so those are his weaknesses.
Okay.
He doesn't really have physical weaknesses. I mean, he can literally take basically anything and live through it. So
yeah, he just walk right to it, right past it. So going off that, of course, Batman being Batman, he would figure out a way to play off that. What about Moon Knight? What would he do?
He doesn't necessarily. He is a little bit of a tactician, hit from his background, but like his way he fights, he just takes the hit and keeps on hitting kind of thing. He's not gonna prepare really. He's just gonna be like, all right, let's go beat the crap out of somebody, type of thing. So I don't really see him doing much preparation for the fight. So just he's ready all the time.
So So let's set the stage for this fight here.
Alrighty.
Where do you think this fight will be taking place?
Okay. I kind of think that Marvel and DC are merging, right?
Yeah.
This fight would probably take place because Khonshu is now jealous of Batman taking over the night. All right. Now Khonshu probably wants Batman to be his new avatar, right?
Yeah.
Or he wants Batman out of the way so
Yeah.
he can be the ruler of the night that he once was. And so he would send Moon Knight on this mission to take out Batman.
Yeah. I can see Batman like declining becoming the Avatar.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because-
Batman would definitely not take up that offer. He loves to dish out his vengeance, but he likes to do it on his own terms.
Yeah, exactly. I can definitely see Moon Knight coming and then Khonshu talking through Moon Knight,
Yeah.
talking to Batman, being like, "Become my avatar" and stuff, and then Batman's like, "No."
Yeah. I definitely can see, like, I think that's kind of how it would take place. I don't see Batman coming and being like, "Oh, Moon Knight's like this threat." I can see him seeing Moon Knight as a villain, because he's so brutal and he's willing to kills.
Killings.
He's killing people's all over, and Batman does not. And
It's
so,
a line that he does not cross.
well, about that.
I'm quoting from Under the Red Hood. Okay.
So I could see him, because Batman does see most anti-heroes, or like Moon Knight's not really an anti-hero. He's more just like a
brutal hero,
right. But he sees a lot of those type of people as
anti-heroes,
anti-heroes or even villains. So I could see him going after Moon Knight. But so I see the fight taking place in a kind of a place that they both like to live in, and that is New York City.
Okay. Yeah, I can actually see that. I can actually see it happening in a dark alley somewhere.
Yes. As the wind blows through the dark alley and the newspapers flutter, the one dressed all in white and the other dressed all in black.
Yeah.
The screen narrows around their eyes.
This is an anime.
It's just dramatic.
All right.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly did that long before anime was a thing.
That's true. Yeah, you know what? I can get behind that. Yeah. So happening in New York, I would see it as Moon Knight, of course, is going after the Batman.
Okay.
I can see it as, like you said, Khonshu is wanting Batman as his avatar.
Yeah. Like, they're in the alley. He points his staff at him.
Yeah.
And Khonshu being, all-knowing as he is. Bruce Wayne, be my avatar. I don't know what he'd say. And he's like, nope.
I mean, I don't think
Specter.
Oh,
Yeah. It's all over the audience.
okay, we are not a radio. Yeah, so I will see Batman declining the offer, and then he will go into saying, like, you have, like, saying something about
You killed my father.
like killing too many people, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think you deal out justice, but you deal out death.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I can see that. So
You're no better
who
than
do you
those
think
put in
would
the
take the
ground.
first strike?
It's a good one. Batman likes to. They both like to.
Yeah.
I can see them, eyeing each other out as they finger their weapons, deciding which one they'll throw first.
I think Batman would wait.
Because I think if Batman attacked, it would be more of a distraction than an attack, right? He'd probably be, like he studied him. He knows what his suit is. Yeah. He knows he has heat vision. He might throw a smoke bomb, whatnot, distract Cloud, but not actually like an attack.
Yeah. So because Batman would know that,
but the brashness of Moon Knight, I think he would definitely attack first.
Yeah. So Wait, you're saying Moon Knight would attack first?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Moon Knight would definitely strike first. I can see Batman using a smoke screen or any type of gas to kind of slow Moon Knight down. Of course, I think the fight would definitely start out with stuff like that, with them exchanging blows a little bit.
Yep.
And then I think Batman would then change his tactic to kind of like a stealth style.
Okay.
I would see him disappearing into the night
Yeah.
and trying to fight Moon Knight.
Yeah, I definitely see him using stealth a lot. Just like knowing that Moon Knight doesn't have the gadgets that Batman does. Using those to his advantage of blocking his vision, disappearing, attacking from all angles, and because he in his study would also know that Moon Knight just takes damage, just like he has to deal out a lot, and so he would be doing that. Moon Knight would just be taking the hits and giving the hits, and Batman would have to be taking a lot of damage too, type of thing.
Yeah. I can definitely see as him, as well as going into that stealth, he would be talking to Moon Knight, trying to bring out the other personalities and stuff.
I definitely think, that's where like his studying of him would definitely come in. Making Khonshu mad, talking to the other personalities, reminding him of the other personalities, making him his judgment clouded. I can't remember. There's one comic where he says something like his reflexes slow, like as he gets distracted by his other personalities and stuff, or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what he says, but and so I think it's in one way he's trying to like make peace with one of his other personalities or something, and he's like, I can't do my work with you, anyways, so I think he would definitely be playing on that.
Now, how would Moon Knight react? How would Moon Knight like combat this?
Getting angry, probably. He likes to do that. Just
do you see him as like getting angry, maybe throwing things into the darkness, trying to hit Batman?
I mean, he doesn't he's somebody who's brash and gets angry, but like he's also like used to fighting, and so like he doesn't necessarily make like stupid decisions, just like throw things. I mean, he's good at disappearing into the night too, he's not just gonna stand there and take it. So I mean, he would be using stealth tactics as well, and
okay.
Just kind of, he would take more of a brute force approach, though.
All right. So here's a quick question for Moon Knight. As he fights against his other personalities, he gets weaker, as you said. Would he be able to still take the damage?
Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna that's the thing is, and I think this is what kind of this fight comes down to, is can Batman do enough psychological damage to where Khonshu isn't gonna resurrect him, and like to where you can actually say he won. Because if not, like Moon Knight doesn't really tire, right? Like yes, he does as the moon goes down and the sun comes up, he can tire. But like if the moon's out, Moon Knight's not gonna tire. And so Batman, I think, can deal enough damage. Like Moon Knight is an incredibly skilled martial artist, but Batman's a master in everything, right? Batman doesn't lose hand-to-hand combat with basically anybody unless they're like Deathstroke or something, somebody insanely even more talented. So I think that Moon Knight would like lose the hand-in-hand, and just because he like takes damage, and like Batman's just so good at avoiding damage and can take a lot as well. Like I think he would be able to overpower him in that sense, but he's not going to like do like he knowing that Khonshu can revive him, he would not have a problem killing him because he knows he's not killing him, right? He's done that with other
if I may, real fast, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
So I would see it. A part of me wants to think that Batman would probably try and like target Khonshu.
Okay.
Because he does all this research. He probably found some way of imprisoning Khonshu or something, which he might do. I don't know if he would actually do that or not. So, like we saw in the show, Khonshu was imprisoned, and he was like, "Save me."
Make sure you tell Mark Spector to come save me.
Yeah. So, how do you think that would? Do you think that would?
I mean, yeah, I could definitely see him. I don't know exactly. Like, that's the only. In the show is the only, whatever.
Only time we see him.
Yeah, the only time I've seen that. I haven't read, like I've said before, I haven't read a ton of Moon Knight comics, but I do know a lot about his history and story. So I don't know of how the Ennead works and like why they exactly would imprison him, but I can definitely see Batman playing on Khonshu, trying to make him upset, trying to make him do something rash where he could cross a line and get imprisoned,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
He'd be like, "Don't you remember that one night? I loved that night. I'm a creature of the night as well. We can turn the sky back to that one night."
yeah. All right. No. Well, we are running a little short on time here, so we gotta.
All right. Well, how do you think this
How do I think
end?
this battle would end? I think this battle would end, in my personal opinion. I want to say that because Moon Knight doesn't tire as much as Batman would, I think personally, I want to say Moon Knight. I want to say Moon Knight, but at the same time, Batman could win. This is like a 50-50 chance of either way.
Yeah, it's really tight. I think that given the resolve in Batman's mind versus the chaos in Moon Knight's mind, I think it's just would be a beautiful battle.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could say Moon Knight could beat Batman. It's just I think not. I think out of 10 battles, I think Batman would win like 8 of them. Like he's just too good at pulling apart mental strings,
that is a very good point.
And that's why I think that though, Batman wouldn't, like he would defeat him mentally to the point where he wouldn't want to fight anymore. Where Khonshu would, not raise him back after he's been physically beaten down. So, I mean, it's a beautiful fight. But I think Batman wins.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to say Batman as well. I'm changing it because you did make a very good point of like him winning that mental struggle there. Yeah, I can definitely see it as
he's just like too good of a tactician. Like he's gonna know. Like Moon Knight's gonna go in like thinking he's gonna win. Like that's the way he acts. Like whereas Batman's gonna go in knowing how he's gonna win.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that I am gonna say real fast that this win may not be one of them dying. This win might be just one of them either giving up or possibly something happens so much of them that they have to give up.
Yeah.
Which in that case would be Moon Knight. Right. So that's what I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna have to go to Batman as well. So
alrighty.
So
Marvel loses again. Have they lost every time? I don't remember. No, Winter Soldier beat Mandalorian.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which I'm very sad about.
I'm not. Alrighty. Well, let's get on. Since enough Moon Knight, let's go on to Moon Knight.
All right. So Moon Knight,
episode 4. You know what I say about episode 4 of Marvel shows?
You hate them.
It's where all the big stuff goes down.
Yeah. I was honestly, I don't think I liked this episode.
Honestly, I think I liked this episode.
Really? You did like it?
Yes.
Okay, tell me why you liked it, and I can tell you why I didn't like it.
All right. I liked it because it called back to a lot of like comic things with Moon Knight.
Okay.
It kind of told me like where they're going. Like it wrapped it wrapped up the stories without like wrapping up nice and neat with a bow. It wrapped up a lot of like what it's done in episode 1, 2, and 3, right? With like and Jake that. So it's wrapped up the stories in 1, 2, and 3 with like Layla and Mark and Layla and Steven and stuff. Like gave us closure and like his backstory. Gave us Harrow's like final goal. Gave us into what the gods are all about. And it wrapped that all up pretty nicely with leaving some things open. And then it kind of told us where we were going to go.
Okay.
And it also just brought in some really nice, like, called back to whether it's the comic books or old 80s, Indiana Jones movies. And then the ending was very interesting.
The ending definitely was very interesting. I think it was probably the most intriguing part about the episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like, so I'd say, yeah, the start I hated.
Yeah.
But I liked the start more as it went along because I like realized that it was really basing stuff off of like Indiana Jones type movies. So like the whole throwing the flare in it, setting off bullets that hit everybody and don't hit her. It made sense, that's like how those movies were, and stuff. So I didn't mind it as much. Yeah, it's still cheesy and kind of dumb, but I got it, And like, because so I think at the end they're really trying to make you think what could be real and what could be in his mind. And so that's why this episode was so much more ridiculous than the other ones, because they're trying to make you believe that, all this stuff might not be real, even though I believe it actually is. But if they had made it all realistic, once they were all in his head in the end, which I don't think it's actually in his head, but we'll get into that later, then you think this might all be in his head because it was so ridiculous, this episode. So
okay,
that's what I think they were trying to go for. That's why I didn't mind it.
The one major question I have is, what are all those other statues at the beginning?
Yeah, that was interesting. So I'm not I'm no expert on Egyptian mythology and gods and all that jazz. I know there's a lot of them. But yeah, that makes me think. So let's walk through here. So first we see him take him in there. I can't remember Osiris. Is that the guy's name?
I think so.
Something like that. Whoever's carrying Khonshu's statue, and we see. I think I counted 10.
There's probably way more.
Yeah.
I imagine like Steven or Mark going in there, and then you just get this like view of like all of them. And it's like,
so we know that the Ennead only has 9, as Steven says in episode 1. So I don't know how there's so many, but I think that really shows that in the last episode, right, we were like, what's up with these gods? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And I think it shows that some of them aren't necessarily good, right? And so
what if it isn't true?
I think that all these others are like, all these other statues are gods that got in the way of whatever plan they have, and the fact that Khonshu's just like, I want to help the humans, and these other gods were like, we don't
meddle with.
Yeah. And so I think that they even said something like the humans betrayed
have
them or whatever,
betrayed or maybe forgotten them.
Yeah,
or something
and so
like that.
I think that some of them might be feeling a little mad at humans, and
that
I think
actually,
that could be them. Kind of, I'm not gonna say some of them want Harrow to resurrect what's her face and her kill all the humans. I don't know, but I do think that they aren't necessarily good.
Yeah. But that, speaking of that, actually just gave me a thought about this.
What's your thought?
What if, like you said, they're not good? But what about if only a few of them are good? Like,
well, I definitely think there are ones. Like, that's why what's her face come up to me like, hey, there's another way, showing that like she doesn't necessarily trust the other gods, and she might be like, Khonshu might be right here. Yeah,
but think about it though. We have all these other statues, and what if? Ooh, now this is gets the brain thinking here. That either not necessarily all of them, but some of them might be the true gods of the
Ennead.
Yeah,
and these aren't. I just don't know enough about the way that the gods work in this universe or just Egyptian gods in general to know who could be what.
Yeah, it's just a thought playing up here. Like, it might be an interesting story.
So then as we move on from there, we go to the really dumb scene with Layla throwing the NIM flare and the gun, the bullets firing, which just makes no sense. But
Yeah.
so then they go to the dig site, right?
Yeah, the dig site that's not protected in any way, no guards or anything.
Right. Once again, very reminiscent of a 1980s Tomb Raider.
I could see it as the only way I could explain it is the fact that they all they all wanted to see what's his name, the god. We're so bad at naming gods here.
Yes. So then I really liked the setting in the tomb of like the altar and they were, they were these creatures. I don't remember what they're called, but we're coming after them. That was really cool.
Apparently,
setting.
Guardians of the Mummy or something.
Yeah, I kind of knew that mythology of why because like usually when a pharaoh got buried, he'd get buried with like his best soldiers because they were supposed to guard him or whatever, something like that. But anyways, that was kind of interesting. The way she fought the one and it threw it down thing and used the flare again was stupid. But once again, once I was like, oh, okay, they're doing this off of classic Tomb movies. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm
not
okay
the
with that. So then, what do you think of the story that Harrow tells her?
Well, first off, I was really tired throughout when we were watching this.
Yeah.
So I may have like kind of dozed off for a second there. So I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch it. But what I did catch, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like it was not necessarily not saying it is true, but it was something that he could say that in the fact that is, I think they could be doing this approach of what he's saying is a lie. Because they usually always have the bad guy, explain it that this actually happened, and they actually tell the truth.
Right, and that's kind of like what Mark does right after that, right? He's like, this is actually what happened, and it's slightly different.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, I kind of like that. I really like that it wasn't actually the full truth that he was saying, which makes me like be like, oh, this guy is actually like evil.
Yeah.
So
So that story he tells, I think, and what Mark says is the truth about her father dying, basically says, oh, she's really Maureen from the comics. But then the name and the way he said, your father called you his little scarab, reminded me of this character from the comics. So I looked it up, and it's the Scarlet Scarab. His last name,
I have no idea who.
Last name is very similar to hers. I don't know if it's identical, but La Flor or whatever. And they're this Egyptian character that has the power of this god that he can basically fly and like absorb people's life energy type of thing.
Oh, okay. What?
And so kind of guessing they're going that way with Layla, and that's why her name's different. But so they kind of mixed her with Maureen and this Scarlet Scarab character. Yeah. I think it's interesting that I really like the scene with like Mark and her arguing, or Mark telling her what happened. It was like the first time that like I feel like their like interaction was like real.
Okay.
Like before that, I was like, it was kind of cringy. But that one was pretty good.
Okay.
And then I really liked the call to Alexander the Great, his tomb, because in our world, there's a lot of argument whether his tomb's been found or not. Some people claim, oh, we found it here, blah, 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 and a lot of people will say that it's never been found. So and like him being like a pharaoh was really interesting. Just the way that they tied like modern myth and legend into, or like real myth and legend into MCU's myth and legend was just really interesting. Like that Alexander the Great was the avatar of what's her face, because like he was, just the way he's thought of in history. It's really interesting.
Okay. Yeah. How about we?
Oh, I also liked when he decides to grab that axe, to fight him
Oh
off.
yes.
Because Moon Knight has this grappling hook that looks just like an axe like that, because that's like an Egyptian weapon, and a lot of his weapons are Egyptian like, and so that was just cool little detail. So then we'll go to the ending.
Yeah,
You like the ending?
I did like the ending. I did like it. I was at first, of course, I thought it was a flashback.
Same.
I was like, oh, this better not be like a flashback or something. Yep. And then once it like started to like be like this, I felt like something was off when we first started it. It was weird. It was like this weird style of like, I don't really know what the word is, but just a horrible done TV show,
like a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah. And it was weird. I was like, why has it changed all of a sudden? Yeah. And then once it kind of goes into this TV, it's like, oh, okay, that makes much more sense.
Yeah.
But then, of course, I was thinking, okay, this still might be a flashback. Like, this could still be a flashback. And then you kind of get this very interesting style of like going through the entire room until you hit Mark. And it's like, oh, so it's not a flashback.
Yeah, and we see all these characters, right?
Yeah.
That we've seen before. We see the cupcake car is back.
Yeah.
And then we see Mark, I guess, and Layla. It's very interesting interaction. Yeah. And we're all like, wait, what's going on? Is this all in his head?
Yeah, my first thought was thinking like he was recovered by Harrow or whatever his name is, and he was just put into this facility, and they're doing something to him to keep his personalities subdued.
Well, I was pretty quickly like, okay, this can't, like, it felt so fake. You know?
That, like, by the time Layla showed up, I was like, okay, so this has to be fake,
right?
So. For a split second, I was thinking like, okay, this might be like a place that he was put into to keep from like being able to contact his other personalities and get to Khonshu and whatever, but clearly not.
Yeah, and then his interaction with Harrow kind of just like, not only did his conversation with him, but just like the surroundings and how it looked so not like a mental institution.
Yeah.
Like anything you'd expect. So that kind of, just proved that. And then we meet Steven
in a Pharaoh's tomb or Pharaoh's
sarcophagus.
Sarcophagus, that's what it is.
Yeah. And then we also see Jake Lockley.
Or at least we think it's Jake Lockley. I'm assuming it is just because it's in another sarcophagus and there's a lot of banging on it. I wonder if, however he's going to escape, he's going to need Jake Lockley.
I think he's going to have to, like... So, we'll get into what I think this is now. So then we meet this hippopotamus, right?
Yeah.
So I looked, because I knew that they're, like, hippopotamuses are very important to Egyptian mythology and stuff. Like, even Amut. That's the evil god person they're trying to free. Her legs are hippopotamus legs.
Yeah.
So I was like, this has to be something. So I looked up who it was, and I forgot to write it down. It's like Turat or something, and
Turat,
something like that. It's the Egyptian god of fertility and resurrection. And so I think that this god's going to resurrect.
Oh,
so I think he is actually dead, and this is him like in the purgatory or whatever they call it in Egyptian mythology.
Okay.
And this god's going to resurrect him, but I think that he's going to have to like make peace with his other identities to get resurrected. Kind of what I think is going to happen.
So that also kind of gives more a solid structure on the fact that Jake Lockley is still a recent personality.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because because the way it is, for how I understand, I don't really see it as I can understand like Steven and Mark fighting, but then Jake Lockley, I don't know much about him, so I
Right.
don't know if like he's gonna be this
mean,
person who's always been there and actually fighting. But I
Right.
feel like if he had just come in, that's why he was hitting so hard on the sarcophagus.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what they're doing with Jake Lockley. I feel like, I just really don't know.
Yeah.
Based on, because like we've only seen glimpses.
So hopefully nothing too bad.
Yep. Anything else you want to talk about?
I guess the next thing, the one question I will ask here before we decide to wrap up our whole Moon Knight talk is, do you think Harrow is now the avatar of Amut or whatever his name is?
Well, I don't think he can fully be, right, because Amut is trapped in stone like Moon Knight,
Yeah.
and so if if he is the avatar of Amut, then Mark would still be the avatar of
Yeah.
Moon Knight.
Well, like, is
So,
he gonna
I
be
think
like
he sees himself as the avatar of Amut, but I don't think like he
that?
actually can be until she is.
That really wasn't my question, but I do see. I'm glad you brought that up.
That's what you asked.
I did ask that. My question was what I was meaning to talk about was: are we expecting to see him have the full abilities of an avatar in the next episode?
I mean, if he ever frees Amut, yeah. Which I think, I don't know if he's gonna free Amut. I mean, that's gonna be like, I think that'll be like the big finale, right? Is him trying. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say yes. Knowing Marvel, they're gonna want to free Amut to have the big CGI fight. So
Okay. I wonder if they're gonna do the fight with Khonshu and Amut.
I don't know, because I feel like there's all these other gods that are like kind of seeming like they're not so great, and if they're gonna do that, they'll have to bring them in, or are they just gonna be like, hey, sit aside. But like I said, in never mind. But possibly, as I will say later in this episode, Gore the God Slayer could show up and kill off some of the gods to make that not happen.
Oh. Okay.
Don't know. We'll see.
All right.
But does that do it for Moon Knight, or you got anything else? I'm done.
I'm done.
I mean,
We're done with this.
Yep. Alrighty.
All right. Moving on.
So anything big news upcoming in the Star Wars world these days? I think didn't a new No, it wasn't a new Obi-Wan trailer.
No new.
There was some news I saw about Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I was like, no, don't look.
I haven't seen any new Obi-Wan trailer. I definitely looked today
Yeah.
to see if there was any. I didn't see any. I could have missed it. Who knows?
Yep. Well, any
I
other
don't
news,
care.
or-
No, I do care.
Any other news? Well, I kind of do. What about Andor?
Nothing on Andor. Still
Come
saying
on.
it's going to come out this year.
Yeah.
So my guess is it's coming out like later this year, way later. Which brings me to Bad Batch.
Okay.
I finally figured it out. Figured out what's been going on.
It's gonna suck.
Bad Batch season 2 was pushed back,
Oh.
and people have been really upset about it.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. Like it's been put. It was supposed to come out sometime in the spring, or yeah, in the spring this year.
Like this spring?
This spring.
Oh.
So, but because of Obi-Wan and because
Right.
of some other stuff, I think I didn't get the full details of
Mhm.
why they pushed it back, but I think it was mainly because of Obi-Wan. They decided to push it back to a later date. People are upset about it. I know there's a lot of talk about it and stuff like that. So, which is fine. But some other Star Wars news,
Oh.
something new,
Oh.
something new that I'm surprised it took me this long
different.
to figure it out. Star Wars Visions is
Okay.
getting a season 2 fall of this year.
Okay.
October or September is this
Interesting.
is the presumed date
Okay.
months of them coming out. So I'm honestly really excited, even though I never finished the show.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely unique,
Yeah.
and it's fun. Very interesting. Very interesting. Is that it? Ready for Marvel?
Yeah, that's about it.
Because Marvel got some
I heard there was a new
big
Thor:
things.
Love and Thunder
So yes, Thor: Love and Thunder teaser trailer finally
coming out the
finally
same
came
date.
out.
Still, no pushback.
They didn't give an exact date, but they did say July, so it's still coming out the same month. It might get pushed back a couple of weeks, but it's not going to get pushed back much. And I must say, it was a good trailer.
Was it a trailer?
A lot of times teaser trailers, of course, I like more just because they don't give as much away, but it told you what you needed to know without telling you too much.
Okay. Did it give you the sense of like, man, I really want to see this movie or
No.
anything? Okay.
Like I've known going into it since it was announced, I wasn't going to be a big fan of it. Just though I love Taika Waititi, it's his comedic way of telling some of the stories. I'm just not as big of a fan. And
So it's gonna be like Thor Ragnarok.
I mean, it's gonna have a lot of comedy in it for sure.
Oh dear.
Hopefully, it's funny. I think it'll tell a good story though, based on like. I guess this doesn't really give anything away, so I'll say this: the way the trailer starts, and I'm guessing the way the movie's going to start, it is Thor once again. I say, once again, finding out who he is. And though I feel like that's kind of beating a dead horse, like we've done that.
Yeah.
I feel like we did that in the first Thor movie. We kind of did that in the second Thor movie, and we definitely did that in the third Thor movie.
Yeah.
And then we kind of did it in Infinity War.
How many
We're doing
times?
it again. The reason that it kind of makes sense is like he's just gone through so much, right? Each time it made sense for him to be changing who he is, or just finding who he is now that Asgard's destroyed, now that Loki's deceived him. I mean, whatever it is, like he's having to like adapt. And so it does kind of make sense after the events of his Asgard gets destroyed. He fails. He goes into like depression basically, and then Endgame happens. After all that, it does make sense for him to be searching for who he is after, and it does make sense also because like Asgardians live such a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's like for humans, like we just, have one lifetime of finding out who we are and doing that thing, whereas he lives 10 times longer than that. And so he can, change and have a lot more time to evolve his personality and stuff. So it's definitely the right character to do something with that, but if it's just another like same old, it's just gonna have to be that much better than the last one, and I don't know if they can do that.
Any signs of the Guardians of the Galaxy being in it?
Yes, they're 100% in it.
Okay, I didn't know if like they were going to be in it because he went with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I definitely think they will. I don't know how much of a part they're going to play. Where if it's just like they go on there, I definitely think there'll be a good chunk of them in the movie. I don't know how much they'll play their part, and we know. Do you know who the villain is?
I don't know who the villain is. Is it someone I've heard of before?
I don't think you've heard of the character, but you've heard of the actor.
Oh, okay.
So Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale.
Right. He does not show up in the trailer.
Really?
Which I know that his character is very CGI'd, so I don't know if they're still like, working on the CGI as why he doesn't show up. But I just think it was a really good choice because they were like just showing you what type of movie it was without,
showing you what type of movie it was.
And that's kind of what I liked about the trailer. But I am very, very interested to see what Christian Bale's villain looks like. So hopefully we get him in the next trailer. Should I get into some rumors?
Rumors. Well, how about this? Let's start with.
Or do you have any questions about Love and Thunder before we move on?
No question about Love and Thunder. No more, at least. Maybe next week I'll have some more questions. What about? So we are getting really close to, of course, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, there was another trailer released.
Anything new? Anything you
yes
kind of want to say? You want to say or can say?
So this trailer we didn't get a whole lot of new footage,
All right.
but we got 2 new lines
Two new lines.
that I think are very important.
Do they reveal a whole lot?
So they don't reveal a lot, like, but they like could have huge like that's the thing. Like
It's a line that sounds
so
like
Mordo says something.
Mordo.
Yeah.
Oh, Mordo. I know who Mordo is.
Mordo. Okay,
I think it's Mordo.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking Morbius.
Mordo says something at this like start of the trailer that makes me think I could be very wrong about the Illuminati or who was on. I don't. Um, what can I say without giving stuff away? He. I. So you know Mordo's in the movie,
Yeah.
and
Mordo's in the movie.
and you know he's in our world in Earth 616 in the MCU.
What does this have to do?
He isn't happy with Doctor Strange, right?
Oh, really?
And he comes and like confronts Doctor Strange. And what he says makes me think that there's like it's just very interesting. It has big implications. I just can't say anymore. But it is
With how you're acting and everything.
it made me
if I
very
may,
let's
if
just
I
say it
may.
made me very excited for Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor, like him playing Doctor Strange.
I am very excited to see like how this Doctor Strange is going to be. Like he's done so well in other movies, in other Marvel movies as Doctor Strange, and it's like, whoa, we're getting another Doctor Strange movie,
Yeah.
and it's going to be amazing. I'm excited for Scarlet Witch as well. If I may, real fast,
Yeah.
I'm going to just take a quick guess of what you're so excited about.
Yep.
I'm guessing that the Illuminati is actually on Earth 616.
No.
Okay.
That's a good guess. I'll just go on to the other line.
Yeah, go on to the other line.
So Sinister Strange
Oh, which reminds me,
says
actually,
something.
if I may say real fast, I was foolish. I clicked on a video on YouTube thinking it was something else, but it was actually the Doctor Strange trailer. And I saw the evil Doctor Strange or whatever other
Sinister Strange.
Yeah, Sinister Strange, I think who is
Strange Supreme. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not totally sure who's who, but
yeah, it was.
Did you hear did he say anything?
I clicked off before he said it. I just got a quick glimpse.
So you
of
haven't
him.
heard him say anything.
Yeah, I did not. Hear
So
him
in
say
every other
anything.
trailer, he's only said one thing. In this one, he says something different, and it was very interesting. Very interesting because let's just say it calls back to another moment in the MCU.
Really,
Yeah.
was it something that could reveal anything or?
Not really. I think it just reveals that like all the Stranges, no matter what, have been through a lot, and they approach their problems very similarly, like you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the only thing that it really tells you. But it definitely it made me this trailer has probably made me the most excited for the movie of any trailer, even though it's like literally 30 seconds.
If I can ask real fast, so let's go off of some lines, these new lines and stuff like that. I want to talk a little bit about what I saw with this new Doctor Strange. So he looked like I saw something black around his like neck or something. I mainly just saw the head of him, but there was something black I could slightly tell. And I did notice like some kind of, I don't know what to call it, like an orb floating around him. Anything you could tell me about those?
All I'll say about him is if you remember from What If, like the evil Doctor Strange and just his look, the way he looked. I don't know if this Doctor Strange is supposed to be a live action version of that Doctor Strange, but he just looks very similar.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because the What If Doctor Strange, he just seems more like of a bad guy style than a superhero. Yeah, but yeah. So okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
So like just all I'm saying is this. I very much liked this little tease we got. I liked. Oh, there was one new shot. Well, it wasn't a new shot. It was just an extended shot of what we'd seen before of Wanda.
She,
Also reminded me of What If a lot. That was very interesting.
a what if Wanda?
Just the shot reminded me of things we've seen in What If.
Okay. Quick question about Wanda though. Is she gonna have like a different style costume, or is it gonna
I
be
think
a
we'll
bit of the
probably.
same?
I think just because we're seeing a lot of different versions of people, I think we'll probably see different versions of their costumes. That this one calls back to the comics more, or
Mhm.
just nostalgic things, a little fan service with them. In the trailer, we've really only seen her in, like just normal people clothes. The uh, the suit she had on at the end credit scene of WandaVision, and then like the kind of like in What If, the zombie version, we kind of seen like similar things and that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if they were gonna do a slight change to her costume,
Yeah, I don't think much, at least.
because to be honest, I really love her costume.
It is. I think it's up there with some of my favorites that they've come up with so far.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anything?
No.
There's a lot of Marvel stuff coming out this year.
Yeah.
Which is quite surprising.
It's cool. A little scary that it could just be a bunch of junk, like last year.
Yeah.
end of the year, of course.
I mean, there is a hope for Doctor Strange being good.
Oh yeah, I think that'll be good.
Doctor Strange and hopefully, I personally want Thor: Love and Thunder to be good,
I mean, yeah, I want it to be good.
but I have a hope that it will be good.
Hopefully.
But it probably won't. It probably.
Yep. Yep. I think that does it for Marvel and Star Wars. Speaking of having a lot coming out, I think Back and Forth's got a lot coming out as well.
Yeah.
Want to tell us about it?
Well, I'm sure all of you are wondering why we didn't do instant judgments and stuff like that. I think we should.
Yeah, so last week we had said we were doing instant judgments for a couple of movies, Ambulance and Sonic 2. And those will be coming out non-instantaneously. We did go watch them.
Yeah.
But we both watched them both incredibly late. So we're unable to get the recording done immediately. But we got the recording done now, and we'll be posting those ASAP.
Yep. But moving on from that, we are going to be seeing The Northmen pretty soon here. And we will do an instant judgment. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. And I don't know if we are going to be actually switching it up for this one, since I'm the one that really wants to see this movie and stuff.
You know how much I like to let you talk.
I know. Do you want to tell us what we're doing next week for Back and Forth?
I would absolutely love to.
Why do I feel like you don't know?
I know exactly what we're doing. So we are moving from Marvel to Star Wars next week and doing our top 5 Star Wars entrances. Guessing for heroes, are we doing all entrances?
I'm going to say all entrances for next, because there's not that many hero entrances.
That's true.
So we're going to do all entrances next week. But then after that, we will be taking a break from top 5 stuff.
Yeah, we'll be doing. Well, we got a lot of other stuff coming out, so we'll be talking about that. We'll be doing. But
yeah,
also coming out next week, or kind of next week, the first Monday or Sunday of May 1st, will be our movie review for Rogue One.
Yeah. I'm super excited for this. I'm
also excited, though I dislike the movie. I am excited to destroy it as a movie.
Wow. So yeah, the reason that we haven't gotten one out this month is just because we were so busy.
Yeah, we've been crazy busy, but
or at least you've been busy.
Yeah. I'll be insanely busy next month too, but we'll get that out first of the month, and then just a regular show besides that.
Yeah.
And all right. We will see y'all next week.
Don't put yourselves inside a box.